Hi everyone and welcome to Odd Bonsai. Today I will be going through the process of repotting this Ficus benjamina group. The soil that this Ficus benjamina has been sitting in doesn't drain water very well anymore. It stays soggy for long periods of time and the water takes a lot of time to come out of the drainage holes. So it definitely needs a soil change in order to prevent root rot. First, let's try to pull this Ficus group planting out of this pot. Okay, that went better than I expected it. Now let's have a look at this soil. Yeah, even though it's a combination of potting compost and sand, you see that it's pretty wet here down below, while at the surface it's almost dry. Now normally I would only remove some of the old soil, untangle the roots that are growing in circles and trim them a little bit. In this case, however, the soil doesn't look that great, so leaving it around the roots will not be such a good idea. So I will have to remove this old soil completely. If you're repotting and your soil still provides good drainage, you don't have to go through the process of removing the old soil, especially if you don't have any root work to do. One word of advice, if you intend to remove the old soil, is to leave the plant a little bit on the dry side some days before you want to do this operation. It makes the process of removing the soil much easier than if it were very wet. Now there are some big bulbous roots here. Interesting. I bought this Ficus benjamina around 2 years ago at a discount from the section where they put all the hopeless plants. The ones with broken branches, broken leaves or yellowed leaves. The ones which do not really seem like they have much life in them, in case there's somebody crazy enough to pay the money for them. And luckily for this Ficus benjamina, I was one of those guys who went in and bought one of the hopeless plants and nursed it back to health. I went on and finished removing all the soil, and I even washed the roots. I see that there are a lot of these bulbous roots around. I cannot tell for sure, but from what I know, these kind of roots are usually used for water storage, so probably these Ficus benjaminas have the capability of surviving longer periods of drought. I will have to trim the roots a little bit, so I will go on and do that now. So first, this large one that is going towards the top has to be removed. It is one of those bulbous roots that probably keeps water, but I'm guessing it should be fine to remove it. There, it's off. And I think I can reduce it even more. Like that. Okay. One more similar root sticking down here. The aim is to make the root ball as flat as possible without removing too much of the roots at this point. And this big one I think can be taken off right here. Yes, much better. The tree trunks are pretty nicely tangled together through the root system, and I want to keep them that way, so I will not mess with that part today. I like their positioning. Okay, and this one here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's pretty fine. I could probably go even further with the root trimming, but I think for the moment this should be enough. Maybe I'll shorten this one as well. Okay, it should fit the new pot quite nicely. Now I want to show you how this bulbous root looks like. This is a segment of it. It really looks like a radish cut in two. It's interesting. So it's definitely used for storing water for longer dry periods of time. Next, let's prepare the potting mix, which will be a combination of 25% perlite, 25% vermiculite and 50% normal potting soil. Next, let's mix all things up. You can use any other soil recipe as long as it's well draining and it maintains humidity for long periods of time, since Ficus benjamina likes humidity like all other ficuses, but it doesn't like to sit with its feet in the water. Now let's fill the pot with this new soil. This should be enough for now. And let's place the tree. Yeah, I think it's sitting in pretty well. I'm just going to arrange these roots around a bit. Like that. There's definitely going to be more root work in the future, but now I just want to adjust it to this new pot. And let's fill in the rest of the soil around here. I think this should be fine for now. I will now have to make sure that all the air is gone from between the roots and the soil, and that the soil is nicely tucked in around the root base. Alright, now that the soil has settled in pretty well, all that's left to do is give this Ficus benjamina a watering. This was all the work on this Ficus benjamina for today. It definitely needs a pruning to lower the branch structure, but I will first let it recover from the root work that I've done, and maybe in 1 month or so I will tackle the branch pruning as well. If you would like to see future updates on this Ficus benjamina clump, as well as other odd bonsai videos, please subscribe and press the notification button below to get notified when new videos are posted on this channel. Thank you for watching and see you next time.